હેલો ફ્રેન્ડ્સ, હું બારિયા દર્શન. આપણે ત્રણ પાર્ટમાં જોયું કે પહેલા પાર્ટમાં પ્રોસેસ ઓફ ડાયજેસ્ટિવ સિસ્ટમ, બીજા પાર્ટમાં એલિમેન્ટરી કેનાલના 4 લેયર હતા એ, ત્રીજા પાર્ટમાં માઉથ જોયું, એમાં ટીથ અને ટંગ જોયું. આજે આપણે ફેરિંગ્સ અને ઇસોફેગસ જોવાનું છે. ધ ફેરિંગ્સ ઇઝ ડિવાઇડેડ ફોર descriptive purpose into 3 parts: the nasopharynx, oropharynx અને laryngopharynx. જે હેતુ માટે છે, કામ માટે છે, નેઝોફેરિંગ્સ એટલે નાકની પાછળ હોય, ઓરોફેરિંગ્સ એટલે મોઢાની પાછળ, અને લેરિન્જોફેરિંગ્સ. The nasopharynx is important in respiration. The oropharynx and laryngopharynx are passes common to the both the respiratory and the digestive system. એટલે નેઝોફેરિંગ્સ એ ખાલી રેસ્પિરેશનમાં કામ લાગે, જ્યારે ઓરોફેરિંગ્સ અને લેરિન્જોફેરિંગ્સ છે એ બંને માટે કોમન પાથવે છે. Moon to the both the respiratory and the digestive system, food passes from the oral cavity into the pharynx, then to the esophagus below, with which it continues. The wall of the pharynx are built of 3 layers of tissue. The lining membrane mucosa is stratified aqueous epithelium. અધિચ્છદીય કોષનું બનેલું છે. Continues with the lining of the mouth at the one end and with the esophagus at the another. The middle layer consists of fibrous tissue which become thinner towards the longer and contains blood and lymph vessels and nerves. The outer layer consists of a number of involuntary constrictors muscles which are involved in swallowing. When food reaches the pharynx, swallowing is no longer under voluntary control. Next, blood supply. The blood supply to the pharynx is by several branches of the facial arteries. Venous drainage is into the facial veins and the internal jugular veins. Nerve supply. This is from the pharyngeal plexus and consists of a parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves. Parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves. Parasympathetic છે એ ગ્લોસોફેરિન્જિયલ એન્ડ વેગસ નર્વ્સનું, અને સિમ્પેથેટિક છે ફ્રોમ ધ સર્વાઇકલ ગેંગલિયન. નેક્સ્ટ ડાયાગ્રામ જોઈશું આપણે ઇસોફેગસનું, જેમાં ટ્રેકિયા બતાવે. ટ્રેકિયા આગળ છે, ઇસોફેગસ સૌથી પાછળ છે, પછી જે કાર્ડિક સ્પિન્ટરમાંથી સ્ટમકમાં ખોલશે, ડાયાફ્રામની અંદર આવી જાય, પછી ટ્રેકિયામાં બે છે અને આયોટા ને એવું બધું છે. Esophagus. The esophagus is about 25 cm long and about 2 cm in diameter and lies in the medial plane in the thorax in the front of the vertebral column behind the trachea and the heart. It is continuous with the pharynx above the just below the diaphragm. It joins the stomach. It passes between muscle fiber of the diaphragm behind the central tendon at the level of the 10th thoracic vertebra. Immediately, the esophagus passes through the diaphragm. It curves upward before opening into the stomach. This sharp angle is believed to be one of the factors which prevent the regurgitations, backward flows of gastric contents into the esophagus. The upper and lower ends of the esophagus are closed by sphincter muscles. The upper cricopharyngeal sphincter prevents the air passage into the esophagus during inspiration and the expiration of esophageal contents. The cardiac or lower esophageal sphincter prevents the reflux of acid gastric contents into the esophagus. There is no thickening of the circular muscle in this area, and the sphincter is therefore physiological. Example, this region can act as a sphincter without of the presence of the anatomical fissures. When interabdominal pressure is raised, for example during inspirations and defecation, the tone of the lower sphincter muscle increases. There is an added pinching effect by the contracting muscle fibers of the diaphragm. Structure. There are 4 layers of tissue as shown in figure. As the esophagus is almost entirely in the thorax, The outer covering, the adventitia, that consists of elastic fibrous tissue. The proximal third is lined by stratified squamous epithelium, and the distal third by columnar epithelium. The middle third is lined by a mixture of the two. Blood vessel, arterial blood vessels, the thoracic region of the esophagus is supplied mainly by the esophageal arteries. Branches of the aorta, the abdominal region is supplied by branches from the inferior pharynx arteries and the left gastric branch of the coeliac artery. Venous drainage from the thoracic region. Venous drainage is into the azygos and hemizygous veins. The abdominal part drains into the left gastric vein. There is a venous plexus at the distal end that links the upward and downward venous drainage. For example, the general and the portal circulation. Nerve supply. Sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves terminate in the meninges and submucosal plexuses. Parasympathetic fibers are branch of the vagus drainage. Functions of the mouth, pharynx, and esophagus. Formation of bolus. When food is taken into the mouth, it is a mastication or chew by the teeth. The mouth around the mouth by the tongue and muscle of the cheeks. Around the muscle by the tongue and muscle of the cheeks. It is mixed with saliva and form into a soft mass or bolus ready for deglutition or swallowing. The length of time that food remains in the mouth depends to the large extent on the consistency of the food. Some food need to the chew longer than the other before the individual feed that the mass is ready for swallowing. Deglutition or swallowing. This occurs in the 3 stages after mastication is completed and bolus has been formed. It is initiated voluntarily but completed by a reflexively involuntary reactions. નેક્સ્ટ આપણે કીધું કે સ્વેલિંગ અથવા ડિગ્લુટેશન છે 3 સ્ટેપમાં થાય. તો પહેલું છે ધ માઉથ ઇઝ ક્લોઝ એન્ડ ધ વોલન્ટરી મસલ ઓફ ધ ટંગ એન્ડ ચીક્સ પુશ ધ બોલસ બેકવર્ડ ઇન્ટુ ધ pharynx. બીજું, ધ મસલ્સ ઓફ ધ pharynx આર સ્ટિમ્યુલેટેડ બાય ધ રિફ્લેક્સ એક્શન initiated in the walls of the esophagus and coordinated in the medulla and lower pons in the brainstem. Contraction of these muscles propels the bolus down into the esophagus. All other routes the bolus would possibly take are closed. The soft palate rising up and close of the nasopharynx. The tongue and the pharyngeal folds block the way back into the mouth and the larynx is mute up and the forward. So that is opening is occluded by the overhanging epiglottis preventing entry into the airways. Tisu. The pressure of the bolus in the pharynx stimulated a wave of peristalsis which propels the bolus through the esophagus to the stomach. Peristalsis waves pass along the esophagus only after swallowing. Otherwise, the walls are relaxed. Ahead of the peristalsis wave, the cardiac sphincter guarding the entrance of the to the stomach relaxes to allow the descending bolus to pass into the stomach. Usually, contraction of the cardiac sphincter prevents reflux of gastric acid into the esophagus. Other factors preventing gastric reflux includes the attachment of the stomach to the diaphragm by the peritoneum, the maintenance of the acute angle between the esophagus and the function of the stomach. For example, an acute cardio-esophageal angle increases tone of the cardiac sphincter when intra-abdominal pressure is increased, and the pinching effect of the diaphragm muscle fibers. The wall of the esophagus are lubricated by the mucus which assists the passage of the bolus during the peristalsis contraction of muscular wall. તો તો આજે આપણે ફેરિંગ્સ અને એસોફેગસ જોયું, જેનું મેઇન ફંક્શન છે ફેરિંગ્સ છે. એના 3 પાર્ટ છે: નેઝોફેરિંગ્સ, ઓરોફેરિંગ્સ ને લેરિન્જોફેરિંગ્સ. એમાં નેઝોફેરિંગ્સ છે એ ખાલી એર પાસ થવા દે, જ્યારે ઓરોફેરિંગ્સ છે એ એર અને જે બોલસ આપણે જે ખોરાક ખાઈએ છીએ એ બંનેનો કોમન પાથવે છે. અને એનું બોલસ મેકિંગ કઈ રીતે થાય, એનું ફંક્શન કઈ રીતે થાય, એ આપણે આ લેક્ચરમાં જોઈએ. થેન્ક યુ.